"5 decades ago, on a farm where a peach orchard once stood, a vision for healthcare in South County was cultivated and began to grow. On March 23, 1975, St. Anthony's Medical Center opened its doors to the community. But our roots date back to 1873, when Franciscan sisters from Germany came to St. Louis. In 1900, the sisters opened St. Anthony's Hospital in South St. Louis.
I became involved with St. Anthony's Hospital at Grand and Chippewa 89 years ago. I was born there June 25th, 1935.
During the polio epidemic in the 40s and 50s, St. Anthony's was the primary treatment center in the Midwest. But by the late 60s, the hospital was struggling to thrive. A community board was formed to direct the hospital's future. The sisters asked Joe Lippick to join the board.
We said, well, two things. We need a leader, a chairman of this board. And secondly, we need to decide whether we're going to move it or not.
Robert Hyland, the general manager of KMOX Radio for 4 decades, served as board chair.
There were some serious discussions about the future of the hospital, and my father and some other people on the board realized that the Franciscan sisters owned a peach orchard in South County and the property that we're on now. And he said, you know what, we're going to build you a new hospital, and it's going to be in South County.
But the real reason the hospital exists is the laity was in the middle of that for 50 years and made it work when everybody else, including the religious, walked away from it.
This has been a part of my family for all 50 years. My dad was a physician on the medical staff at St. Anthony's, and he chose the house I grew up in based on proximity to the hospital so that he could be here within 6 minutes. He was an OBGYN, so the timing was important. It was 6 minutes door to door for my dad to get to the hospital. I think a hospital is always a poor part of any community, but this one in particular was a big part of the community. And I think with the exceptional services that St. Anthony's provided back in those years, those 70s and 80s, it became just an integral piece of South County, but also the St. Louis metropolitan area.
The grand opening of the hospital was a hot day in the summer of 1975, and the program included the singers from the Muni. I do know it was a very emotional day.
The dedication of the new St. Anthony's Medical Center Chapel, July 10th, 1975.
When the board announced that the Highland Center will be built and would be named after our family, specifically after my grandfather, who was a doctor at Mercy in the city back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. It was a lot to take in, but it was a very emotional, very happy day. I think he was most proud of the fact that the hospital was a thriving hospital in South County. And additionally, he was very proud of the Highland Center and the impact that it made on the community to help people who needed the services of a alcohol and drug rehab facility, as well as the behavioral health services.
For 50 years, the hospital has continued to grow and thrive. Today, Mercy Hospital South is St. Louis's third largest hospital, providing exceptional care to communities across the region.
look at this masterpiece out here that's part of our community now, it's just amazing.
It's really humbling to see how this hospital has grown over the years and has continued to serve such an enormous population in South County and beyond.
That footprint has continued to grow over time as our community has expanded south of the city of St. Louis and even into Illinois, into Columbia and Waterloo and Redbud and Sparta. Down 55, we are now the provider of choice for trauma and for stroke care as far south as the Boot Heel. We are a part of Mercy. I think Mercy has provided that footprint for us to thrive for the next 50 years.